guys, welcome to another Clockwerk Case Mods video log series update for Cyprus 29, the Cooler Master HAF Stacker project I've been working on. I think this is update 9. So right now I'm working on the rear case panel. It's the last of the outside panels, and I get into the inside of the machine. I only have a little bit of work to do once I get inside there. I already modded most of the hardware, is all painted, ready to install. I have one water block to paint and a motherboard shroud, and then the hardware is done. My memory too, but I mean all that stuff will get done at one sweep and it'll be all ready to roll. Right now I'm going to be making some billeted fan grills like the MMPC Tech one that I have. Bill sent me that a while back during my gray matter project. He had sent me the case feet for that, and he sent me a couple extra goodies in a little goodie bag. So I got to use that billet fan grill on this one. It's made out of solid aluminum, and basically I want to replicate that out of acrylic, and I drew it up in SolidWorks, and then I made 3 different sizes, a 6-inch one like he has, and I made a smaller one, 4 inches, and then a little 2-inch one, and I'm going to have those on the back of the case. The top one, the 6-inch one at the top, will be a window into the back of the case, because the way the GPUs are, I want to show them off through the back side of the case as well as the side. So I'm going to do a window in there, and I'm just going to stick some mod mesh behind the other ones just to back the panel. They really won't be serving any purpose, just some cool detail to add. But I like the look of the billeted edges, and a little industrial kind of look to it. And I figured since I wanted to do a couple different sized ones, I was just going to make my own instead of grabbing another one from Bill. So I got the parts drawn up in SolidWorks, and I'm going to go ahead and get those cut, and we'll get them put on the case. Hopefully in this video I might be able to even start my reservoirs. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes, what kind of edit I get out of the footage for this part. Because up next, the next thing I'm going to get into is my new reservoir design. I already have it drawn up in SolidWorks. I'm ready to cut. I just need to get the 1-inch acrylic for the base and the top. So sorry, I keep looking over there. I got the build on the workbench, and I'm trying to think of what's up next. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get the CNC cutting and get these billet fan grills up and running, and at least get the first one done tonight, and then get the rest cut tomorrow. So stay tuned for more modding action out of the Clockwerk Case Mod shop. I'm going to go ahead and start the CNC up. Okay, so I got the first ring cut out. It came in pretty close. I mean, it looks almost identical to the aluminum MMPC Tech billet blowhole fan grill, I think it's called. I just call it the billet fan grill. I drew this up in SolidWorks, and then I drew 2 smaller sizes, so I'm going to make those ones next, and then they'll all be painted copper. This one will actually be the one that has the window on the inside. The other 2 are kind of just for decoration, kind of just adding some details, some show to it. I'll probably put some little like a mesh behind the smaller ones, and I'm gonna get making those next. Okay, so I got the one ring on here. The first one I cut out, it's the replica of the aluminum one down here. And I cut out another smaller one. Now I was going to put it in here, but I'm not really sure how it looks. I don't know if I really like it. I'm thinking I'm just going to take more of this 1/4-inch acrylic stock, paint it copper, and kind of continue this horizontal pattern. I'm going to cut some small ones for here. And then I was going to fill up the back of the case with these as well, and go around the edge of this. And I'm thinking about starting down here and going small, and then going back wide again, and then going around the edge of the ring up top. And the ring up top will be painted copper too. But I don't know. I don't know if I really like how the rings are gonna, multiple rings are gonna be. I was gonna put one here and then offset them. Unless I make another one and offset it and add some of this acrylic. I don't know, I'm going to think about it for a minute and then decide if I need to cut another ring or not. I'm gonna get a bunch of these little acrylic pieces cut on the mill though. It's super easy, like 2 seconds and you got it cut. So I'm gonna chop some of these up for now. Actually, I found it's even easier to cut these on the bandsaw real quick, then I belt sand them down, and then I stuck them on the mill to put that little chamfer on the edge, and it really makes it flow, and it kind of keeps the same contoured edges as I have going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make up a bunch of these. I gotta make some varying sizes, and once I have all these cut and kind of set up for the place, I'll mark the hole and get that cut out for the window. And on the inside, I'm probably just gonna make a circle acrylic ring and probably paint it copper, and I'll put it on the inside to cover it up. I don't know if I'm gonna go through making another billet ring or not. I'm not 100% sure. I'll figure it out when I get to there. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the CNC. I think it's the easiest way to get a circle cut exactly where I want it. I'm gonna zero it at the corner point and have it cut a circle that is a little bit bigger than this hole, because probably a 1/4 inch bigger than the center hole. And then I'll cut another piece of acrylic that's the same size, and that'll go on the inside. I'll also have to make a notch out of my motherboard tray panel, so the inside billet will, or the inside ring cover of the window, because you don't want to have that seam there where the window's in there and it just look haggard. So I get another piece like this on the inside to cover it up, and then that way once it's cut, I could peel off this paper and start spacing some of my acrylic stock, because I think I'm going to start at the bottom, put an 8" at the bottom and the top, and then go up a little bit, then work them in smaller, then bring them back out, and then go smaller around the edges, and do the same going down this case, and the whole panel will be filled up like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this part cut now. Alright, now that I got the window hole cut, I can go ahead and I'm gonna tear off all the paper on this. There's no more marks to be made. Everything else is just going to be gluing on and lining things up. So it's getting be about that time where as soon as the panel's done, I can depaper it, because I usually keep it on as long as I can to try to protect the panels. Because you know, you go ahead and you tear it off as soon as you put it on, and then you're like, you know, if it, you know, this project's been going on for like 10 months, so in a matter of that amount of time, the stuff can get knocked into, beat up, scratched up, scuffed up, all dirty. So I usually keep the paper on as long as I can, even though I can't wait to rip it off so I can see what it looks like. But you know, it pays to wait just a little bit longer. So I'm going to tear this off and put it back on. Alright, see, now my excitement just got the best of me, and after tearing it off, I now thought of about 5 things that would have been beneficial to have it on for, but either way, ring looks good, cut to exactly where I want it. I would have liked to, in hindsight now, I should have cut the holes for the grill and the CNC, but that's alright. Also, it would have been nice to have the paper on so I could have lined it up now to hand drill the holes, but it'll be okay, I'll make it work out. I'm going to go ahead and get the holes drilled. I'm also, oh yeah, I'm going to get the inside cut here. I got to cut a window. Basically it'll be like an inlay. It'll pop right in and sit flush on the inside of there. I'm going to do that next actually and get that lined up. The window's cut and it's a little off. I think it's only about, it's under a 32nd around this edge here. So tomorrow I'll hit it with the belt sander a little bit and file it down, and it should fit right in. And then first thing I'll do is make another one of these. I decided I want to go with another billet on the inside to match it. This side I'll drill the holes out completely for the screws to fit through. Drill through here, and then on the other side I'll tap all these holes, and it'll make for like a screw line up on the back side. I actually think the inside I won't I don't think I'm going to counter bore it. I'll just use it like just threaded inserts for like a basically like a big locking nut on the back, and all of it will be painted copper. I also wrote down all the different sized cuts I need to get. I need to make up a couple more of these and get those chamfered, and then hopefully I'll get it all painted tomorrow morning, so tomorrow night I can get it all glued on and get this video edited and get it up. And then next week I'll be starting the inside of the case. Probably start with the front panel and milling that out. I got some work to do. Actually, the first thing I might do is get the motherboard mounted and aligned. I'm not really sure yet, but I'll tackle that when I get to it. But yeah, next up is probably getting another billet ring cut and filing down the window. Okay, I belt sanded down the window here, and it fits in nice and flush on the inside. What I'm going to do now is I have the outside ring here lined up. I'm going to drill the holes on the drill press. I kind of marked where they were, but I'll probably go right through this. So the screws will go through this side, and I have all the tool paths made to cut another billet ring, except I'm not going to counter bore it and make these holes. They'll just be a straight hole through, and then they'll be tapped to 1/4 20, and basically they'll receive the screws from this piece here in the inside of the case, and I'll get them like flush with the outside of it. So next up, I'm gonna knock out these holes on the drill press and then cut the other billet ring on the CNC. Okay, my inside ring is done. I decided to make it just like the outside ring, you know, the billeted style. Also, hold on, this is falling apart. Alright, also what I did was use a technique called spot drilling, and basically you use the CNC to mark all your drill holes for you and put a little groove. It's almost like a punch mark, so you can hit it with the drill press and do a little bit more accurate drilling. It also you can use spot drilling, I think, to like make a bigger hole and chamfer the edges, so you could drill a smaller hole in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these out on the drill press to the exact size I need for tapping this, and this will be painted copper mounted on the inside, and it will be it will terminate all the screws from the outside billet ring and basically lock the window in place inlaid within the panel. And after that, basically I can go ahead and finish up all my vertical or horizontal stock pieces that are going on as like a trim. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drilled and tapped and kind of mount it in place to see what it looks like. Alright, to tap these holes I'm just using a standard 1032 with a regular tap handle. If you just go carefully, it's a finer thread and you don't have to worry about it cracking. Like when I'm doing a reservoir and I'm using the G1 1/4 pipe tap, I usually run it through a piece of wood first to make sure it goes through straight, and it also relieves stress and helps with the acrylic and making sure it doesn't crack. But I mean, this is pretty easy. I think I actually am going to throw this in the drill to do the rest of these. And then once they're all tapped, I'm going to clean up the edges on the belt sander and mount it up into the window and see how it looks. I'm going to have to remove some material on my motherboard tray so it clears, because it's going to dip behind the tray a little bit. but that won't be difficult to do. I can see the shadow of the outside ring right here, so I know where to remove the, take the material out at, so it'll be real easy to do. I'll probably actually do it on the mill and just bring it in and go down and bring it back out. It should be pretty easy to do. Okay, after milling out this area here on the motherboard tray, I wanted you to get an inside view of the new window, and it came out pretty much perfect. The holes lined up dead on. I mean, once it's painted copper, it'll really, I mean, the effect will really stand out. I think it'll look pretty sweet. Now all I gotta do is finish up all the tedious detail panels or little stock pieces all the way up and down this, and then the outside of the case will be done. So I'm gonna get cutting up on these things here. Okay, so I thought I had filmed the process of making the first piece of trim, but I don't think I did. I was thinking of something else, but basically I go through and I measured it all to the size and cut it down on the bandsaw, then sanded it flat with the belt sander, and then I milled a 90-degree chamfer on every edge of all of these. So that took quite a bit of time. I think I spent a handful of hours on it. But now I got them all in place and they're ready for paint. I have some painting to do for a client project, and I'm gonna get it both done at the same time. So I killed two birds with one stone, and I'm also filming for that video at the same time too. So I'm gonna go ahead and scuff these up and get them ready for primer, along with the other parts I have to paint. Okay, to paint these pieces, I'm gonna cut out some strips of the double-sided tape I use on the CNC, run it on this table, and I'll stick these down with the side that I'm gonna glue to the case. I'm not gonna hit with paint, just the top half, because this side's gonna be glued down flat anyway, permanent, so you will never see it. And it'll just be easier than trying to find a way to hang these up. So those stick down with double-sided tape so the paint doesn't spray them away, and then I'm gonna have to hang the plastics and the rings to hit both sides because parts of them will be visible. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that and scuffing them and getting everything prepped up. Okay, I have all my parts for Cyprus 29 that are about to be painted. I just got them all scuffed up. Now I just take them over to the sink and wash them off with soap and water, remove all the dust, and it's really worth the effort to go ahead and always prep very well for paint work, because if you don't, you usually end up with the grease from your fingers gets on there, or dust or any particles get on there, and it screws up your paint job, and most of the time it leads to rework. So I'm gonna get all these washed off for my project and for Kenroy's, and then get it out to the shed to get some primer on them. And I plan to get it all painted and primed and painted today. I found some tricks online when painting with acrylic enamel from Rust-Oleum to not give long breaks between layers. Go right from primer to paint to clear, because otherwise Rust-Oleum, the way their paint works, it takes like over like a week to cure for each step. So if you're gonna wait, you're gonna have to wait an entire week to spray your paint and spray your clear. Not so much paint. I've gone from primer to paint pretty quick a bunch of different times, and I've never seen an issue. But spraying paint and then going the next day to try to clear it, it'll bubble up all your paint and ruin everything you're painting. So I found out that just going right from the paint, as soon as it's tacky, if you're about to do another coat of paint, just go right to the clear, and it leaves a great finish and has a pretty solid cure process. So I'm gonna do that for all these pieces. All right, it's freezing cold out here. I got everything in primer now. Like I said, a couple of these clips might end up in 2 videos because I'm painting for the same parts. I got Kenroy's plastic here. It's gonna be painted gold. I got some copper, or some plastic for my build that's going to be painted copper. I'm kind of on some time crunch right now, so I think it's safe enough to leave plastic and primer and then come back to it. I'm probably going to end up painting like one of these at a time. Just paint it, get it into the house, and do as many as I can tonight and do what I can tomorrow. Just being trapped out here, it's so damn cold right now. It's like 10 degrees outside or something, I don't even know. But you know, I'm not going to get a good, you know, the paint's not going to dry well if I have to leave it out here in this cold ass weather. So I think I'm just going to try to like come out here, grab a piece, hit it with the paint, hit it with the clear, take it in the garage, hang it up to dry. So I don't know, it's going to be a pain in the ass to carry the camera and tote it all around. So I'll probably just end up showing you guys all the parts when they're all finished, and just try to wrap this up so I don't got, you know, I don't got a cameraman. I'm doing everything by myself, so it's hard to lug everything around. But I don't know, I guess I'll get back to you guys as soon as I have all these parts in the garage and everything's laid out to dry. Alright guys, I'm heading out to the outside paint shop. You can see what we have to deal with here in Cleveland, Ohio when you want to mod computers. Trudge through the snow. I just had to shovel this whole walkway all the way out here, only to get inside and then have to build an entire paint fixture stand. Sorry for shaking the camera around. Trying to walk with the tripod. There we go. I can't believe I worked out here all winter last winter. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit all these parts with primer and then get laying some paint. Okay, after a miserable night in the cold, I got pretty much everything taken care of. I might actually redo a couple panels. In fact, I probably will do a couple pieces. A couple of the gold pieces I want to do more coats on, and I want to repaint a couple of the copper pieces that have some weird looking runs in them. But overall not bad for being like 10 degrees outside. So what I'm going to do is I put this in place just to check it out, the rings, put the inside one on and set the window in place. I'm going to have stainless steel button head cap screws in all the counter bores. These are just here just to hold it for now. I'm going to take the panel out and lay it down flat. I think that's going to be the easiest way to get everything glued on. I'll probably do the same with this bottom one, or wait till I tear the case down a bit to get to there. But so yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything so far. I think it's going to be a real slick panel, and I can't wait to get it done so then I can start adding the hardware to the inside, because that's what's next. So I'm going to go ahead and get these glued on and everything and take it from there. Here I have all the pieces laid in place, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them. I was going to get real meticulous and measure all the gaps, but I quit stressing about it. I kind of laid it all out as close as I could, and I'm going to go ahead and go with it. I mean, all I'm going to do is try to make sure that they're exactly perpendicular with the edge, you know, make sure they're all straight basically. So for now it looks pretty good. I'll get you a better view. Yeah. So I'm just going to glue it in place how it is, and when I get down to this lower panel here, let me show you right here, I'll probably take that one off too and do it. It's a lot easier to do this laying down. But yeah, I'm gonna get it glued on and get it back up on the case, and that'll wrap up this video. Next up, I'm gonna start adding hardware. Probably what I want to do is get the motherboard mounted so I could plot out all the wires and stuff like that, so that'll be up in the next video. Okay, I'm using weld-on number 4, and just run a bead along the edges. I went through and tacked all of them into place first, just at the edges, just so it'll stay still, and then now I'll go through and make sure they're on there good. And the acrylic cement just seeps in under the crack and bonds. It basically, it literally welds the two panels together. So to get them apart, you got to cut them or crack them. But I'm gonna knock the rest of these out and get it on the case. Okay, I fit the panel into place, and I think it came out pretty sweet. I'm not one to leave a panel, huge open panel. I don't know, I just can't do it. I always feel like something's got to get filled in somewhere. And I want to always try to keep it relevant to the rest of the case. So I don't know, I think it came out pretty sweet. Some people might think it's overkill, but I don't know, I like the way it came out, and I think it was a lot of work too, so I don't know, I'm happy with it. Next up, we'll be going into the inside of the case and finally installing some hardware. I'm going to probably start working with the motherboard. I'm going to get it mounted, get my standoffs in there, get the motherboard shroud painted, and then I also want to try to get the input-output panel finished. I got to cut out for the graphics cards, and I have instead of going with the like rhombus shapes that I had before, I'm going to do right triangles that go to the bottom. I think it looks a little cleaner with some 1/4" acrylic and make them thicker. So I think that's my goal for my next video, is to get the motherboard mounted, painted, and the input-output panel finished. It shouldn't be too difficult to do. It's getting really close. I mean, there's just a little bit to do. This whole bottom case is done. Like once I'm ready to install and tear it down, everything's ready down there. It's just dialing in this middle panel here with all the bulkheads, getting my wiring organized, and then just installing the hardware officially. So now that this panel's done, I'll finish this one when I tear it down for paint. Same with the top, I'll probably do that at the same time. But yeah, that should be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.